Author rahimahullah ta'ala, he continues with his introduction after mentioning the verses وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى, that we should help each other and assist each other in righteousness and in goodness and in the fear of Allah. And we mentioned the ahadith that he then mentioned about guiding people to do goodness and the reward of teaching people goodness and teaching people guidance. That a person will get the reward of the person that does the deed that he taught him, he will get his reward in full. And we mentioned a few ahadith that Imam An-Nawawi rahimahullah mentioned. The reason Imam Nawawi brings these ayat and ahadith in this context is to show that this is one of the reasons for compiling this book. One of the reasons for bringing a book of hadith together is to make it reach the people, to simplify matters so that when people act upon this, he is teaching them and helping them in goodness. This is what Allah instructed. And inshallah, he will be hoping for the reward that every person who acts upon these ahadith and the ayat that's contained in the book, then he will acquire this reward as well. And now rahimahullah, then at the end of his muqaddimah, he mentions that for this reason, he saw it fitting to compile a concise selection of authentic ahadith, which encompasses and will serve as a path for the seeker to the hereafter. And it will provide a summary of inner and outward etiquettes. So these ahadith will be inshallah, serve as a path, as a guide towards the hereafter, towards achieving Jannah. And it will cover etiquettes that are required by each believer, internally as well as externally, gathering together for the purpose of encouragement and warning, targheeb and tarheeb. This book contains a hadith of targheeb, which is a hadith that motivate us to do goodness, to do good deeds, as well as tarheeb, a hadith that instills fear, that keeps us away from evil deeds and sin and so forth. And all types of etiquette for those on the path. From a hadith on zuhd. There will be a hadith in this book that speaks about asceticism, which means to cut yourself off from, seeking the joys and the pleasures of this world. Focusing on the cultivation of souls, refining one's character, and the purification and treatment of the hearts. All of this will be found in the ahadith that is found in this book, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, as well as safeguarding the limbs and rectifying them, and other objectives of knowledge. He then mentioned that I commit to only bringing authentic ahadith from clear sources, the clear well-known books of hadith. In addition to the well-known books of authentic ahadith, I have introduced chapters. So these will be put under chapter headings with verses from the Noble Quran. So Riyad us-Saliheen is not just a hadith book. What Imam An-Nawawi rahimahullah did, he brings different chapter headings, then he brings verses of the Quran that speaks about these chapters. Then he brings a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And here and there he's given his own ta'liqat, which means his own explanation and notes. Then he says, when I say at the end of the hadith, muttafaqun alayh, it means the hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. Muttafaqun alayh basically means agreed upon. So whenever we have a hadith that is called muttafaqun alayh or agreed upon, it means agreed upon in terms of its authenticity, there's no doubt. Because they are found in the two most authentic books of hadith, Bukhari and Muslim. At the end he says, I hope that if this book is completed, it will guide the one who pays attention to it towards goodness, serving as a barrier against sin and destructive deeds. That inshallah, the one who studies this book, who gives it, time and effort, this deed will this book will be a benefit to him by keeping him away from all evil and sin. And I ask anyone who benefits from this book to pray for me, my parents, my teachers, and all our loved ones, as well as for the Muslims. And it's only normal, and this is the beauty of writing a book. When students study the book, what do we say? The author, rahimahullah, said. An-Nawawi rahimahullah, over and over we are making dua for the author. And I rely on Allah, the generous, and I entrust myself to Him. Sufficient for me is Allah, and He is the best of all planners or disposer of affairs. There is no power and no might or strength except with Allah, the mighty and the wise. In conclusion, this book, alhamdulillah, is one of the most widely accepted books of hadith. And it's being taught across the globe. It's being read by millions and millions of Muslims in different languages. Allah has placed a special type of qabul, acceptance in this book of Imam An-Nawawi as well as other books. So we hope that by studying this work, we get a similar type of qabul from Allah Azza wa Jal, that He accepts our deeds, that He guides us to the right path, and He keeps us away from sin, as this was one of the reasons the author rahimahullah compiled this book. Tomorrow inshallah we will move on to the first chapter bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.